News at 9. First, the highlights. Lagos State Government warns against attacks on law enforcement officers within central business districts. Police Service Commission calls for urgent reform of Nigeria's outdated criminal justice system. On the foreign scene, Russian president replaces ground forces, appoints new deputy secretary for Security Council. And in sport, South Africa edges Nigeria in semi-final thriller to qualify for AFCON Under-20 final. Now the details. I am John Omoaka. The Lagos State government has warned that any resident of the state who attacks its law enforcement officers on duty, especially the officers of the Central Business District, CBD, will face the full wrath of the law. While speaking at the ongoing ministerial press briefing at Alausa, Ikeja, Special Advisor to the Governor on Central Business District, Bola Olumegbon Lawal, hinted that 3 people have been prosecuted for attacking officials during the course of their duties. The special advisor noted that the Lagos Island and Ikeja CBD have been open to business, appealed to traders and other relevant stakeholders to take ownership of infrastructure in their domain and protect them from vandals, with a call to obey all traffic rules.
I want to use this opportunity to appeal to our stakeholders, especially different transport unions, market associations, and cities, to obey all traffic, environmental, and physical planning laws of the state. By doing so, there will be less friction between the agency's enforcement team and our stakeholders.
Olumegbon Lawal also said in the period under review, 926 vehicles and 33 tricycles were impounded for various traffic offenses ranging from illegal parking, one-way driving, and obstruction of traffic. Our correspondent, Adiola Kindele, quotes the special advisor, CBD, as warning against street trading, stressing that any good confiscated will not be released, while 5 CBD officers were also undergoing disciplinary action for gross misconduct to serve as deterrent to others. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reaffirmed Lagos State's commitment to building a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive transport system as he addressed stakeholders at the 2025 Global Transport Policy Intermodal Transport System Annual Roundtable. The event, held in Lagos, brought together policymakers, transportation experts, members of the diplomatic corps, industry leaders, and development partners to explore global best practices and their application in Nigeria. Governor Sanwo-Olu spoke through the Managing Director, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, Abimbola Akiajo, described the theme of the roundtable, Sustainable Transport Systems, Global Best Practices and Lessons for Nigeria, as timely and significant, especially for cities like Lagos that are grappling with rapid urbanization and mobility challenges. The governor outlined Lagos State's ambitious efforts through LAMATA to build a multimodal transport ecosystem, which includes integration of road, rail, ferry, and non-motorized options like pedestrian walkways, alongside the rollout of electric and compressed natural gas (CNG) vehicles.
As we gather at this round table, let us convert dialogue to policy and policy to progress. Our people deserve a system where mobility is not a daily struggle, but a human right, where our transport choices protect our climate, not pollute it. The journey towards sustainable transport is not a sprint, but a marathon. Achieving these ambitious goals demands more than determination. It requires robust collaboration in infrastructure development at every level. By fostering partnerships among government agencies, private sector innovators, and local communities, we can pool resources, share expertise, and unlock efficiencies.
Earlier, Chairman and Chief Consultant, Global Transport Policy, Segun Musa, noted that public-private partnership is key policy to create a transportation network that supports the nation's aspirations and improve the quality of life of the citizens.
Holistic transport policy, the one that will be symbiotic, that will allow all the mode of transportation to complement each other and create an enabling environment for the major actors so that we can use that one to woo investors and develop our economy. Yes, the government needs to arrange both the state actors and the non-state actors in ensuring that we identify the deficits and bring people on board, that we catalog discussions to formulate the workable and appraisable policy that will improve the system.
Musa urged the federal government to deliberate in invoking a sustainable political will to tackle myriads of challenges facing the transportation sector. Stakeholders in every sector have been urged to work together with persons living with disabilities, PWDs, to foster inclusion and remarkable progress. This call was made at the 2025 edition of the National Handicap Youth Day Rally and Conference organized by the Association for Handicapped Persons Welfare, AHPW, with the theme Unity. In his welcome address, President of AHPW and the Special Persons Association of Nigeria, SPAN, Prince Well David, highlighted the association's long-standing impact, having empowered over 5,000 persons with disabilities through education, healthcare, vocational training, and employment opportunities since inception. He emphasized this year's theme, Unity, as a guiding principle for association's work throughout the year.
Case children's rally. Children with disabilities are isolated. For condition they not go for match pass, jumping, singing, etc. So we'll now cover today to make sure that as they sing praises, they rejoice, interact with their fellow students, then give them solidarity welfare.
National Coordinator of the AHPW, Chidi Nwankwo, expanded on the theme, speaking directly to the youth about the importance and benefits of unity. Omoaka underscored that the event aims to promote equal opportunity, empowerment, and salvation for children and youths with disabilities. He also pointed to the initiative's broader goal to combat child abuse, destitution, and drug abuse among young people in Nigeria. Oyo State government has announced that a sum of 109.23 billion will be spent on the expansion of the scope of works on the 15.5 kilometer southeast segment and the construction of a toll plaza at Rashidi Ladojak Circular Road. The announcement was made during the State Executive Council meeting held at the Governor's Office Secretariat at Godi Ibadan. In a statement released by the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, the government said with the efforts being put in place by the Governor Seyi Makinde-led administration, the project will be delivered and become operational by 2027. Now to the rest of the stories. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Ashimu Agungu, has called for a major overhaul of Nigeria's criminal justice system. Speaking at a workshop in Abuja, Agungu said many of the country's laws are outdated and are no longer fit the realities of today's digital world. He urged lawmakers to update legislation to match global standards, especially in areas like cybercrime and digital money laundering. Agungu also stressed the need to fully implement the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, particularly the section establishing a monitoring committee to ensure compliance and accountability. Lagos, one of Africa's largest and most vibrant cities, has been selected by the African Union Commission, AUC, and the International Committee of AFRIMA to host the the 2025 edition of the prestigious All African Music Awards, AFRIMA. It will welcome leading and bonding African music superstars, creative industry professionals, international media, members of the diplomatic corps, and fans of African music from around the world. Director for Social Development, Culture and Sports at the African Union Commission, Angela Martins, said the state has consistently been an excellent host, noting that Lagos' strong track record is a key reason the AU and the International Committee are confident it will once again deliver a world-class event. The African Union also revealed the much-awaited AFRIMA 2025 calendar, detailing the events, key dates, and milestones that will lead up to the grand finale, which will take place on November 25 to 30, 2025 in Lagos, Nigeria. The AFRIMA 2025 is anchored on a bold theme titled Unstoppable Africa. AFRIMA is expected to feature over 1,600 nominees, including their teams, over 60,000 visitors and delegates, more than 2,300 production crew members, and an audience of over 400 million viewers globally during the live broadcast. Now to foreign news. Russian President Vladimir Putin has replaced the commander of Russia's ground forces, Army General Oleg Saluvok, 69, appointed him Deputy Secretary of the Security Council. The Security Council is the Kremlin's top consultative body, chaired by Putin, and is responsible for managing and integrating national security policy. It does not have direct authority over Russia's security agencies and ministries. The secretary of the Security Council is former Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Saluvoy has, for the past 11 years, led the large Victory Day parades in Moscow's Red Square that mark the anniversary of Germany's surrender at the end of World War II. And now sports. South Africa has qualified for the final of Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations after defeating Nigeria's Flying Eagles in the first semi-finals. Despite playing most parts of the game on the back foot, South Africa came out top through a hauler by Flying Eagles goalkeeper Ajay Yakub, who replaced the injured Ebenezer Harcourt. This is the first time the South Africans will reach the final since the 1999 edition, where they finished second. The Flying Eagles will now face either Morocco or host Egypt in the third-place playoff on Sunday, May 18 in Cairo. And that's our news at 9. But just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms. X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Solu administration, 18,000 teachers were trained under a co-excel? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Government has warned that any resident of the state who attacks its law enforcement officers on duty, especially officers of the Central Business District, CBD, will face the full wrath of the law. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Ashimu Agugun, has called for a major overhaul of Nigeria's criminal justice system. We also told you that Russian President Vladimir Putin has replaced the commander of Russia's ground forces, Army General Oleg Saluvoy, 69, appointing him Deputy Secretary of the Security Council. And in sport, South Africa has qualified for the final of Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations after defeating Nigeria's Flying Eagles in the first semi-finals. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends a news broadcast compiled by Aderayo Idu Walaya. I am John Omoaka. Thank you very much for listening.